What's happening, y'all? Welcome back. This is episode 182. That is 182 of Super Flashy Arrow of Tomorrow, the #1 Arrowverse podcast on Pornhub. I am your host, the self-knighted and now Lord, Sir Cussalott. Lord Cussalott, if you will, Travis Pointer, a.k.a. the Dragon King, a.k.a. Big T, a.k.a. T Money, a.k.a. Sweet T, a.k.a. Black Merlin, a.k.a. the HNIC. And I'm joined as always by my co-host Mara the Shark Watkins.
Ooh.
How are you tonight, Mara?
Hi.
I mean,
I'm good.
Like that's a valid answer, but that wasn't quite what I was looking for, But yeah.
I'm good. We're here for another week of this.
Yeah. It wasn't all bad, but
No, it wasn't all bad.
But we're here to talk about it. So let's talk about it.
We're gonna talk about it, be about it.
All that. That's where you want to start.
Let's start with Annabelle because
we should probably tell folks why we're here, though, in case they're new to the show.
182 episodes in, and you're still new.
Hey, man, new listeners come in all the time. All right?
You're right. I definitely have discovered podcasts years into them being on. So
yeah, it happens. Like there's this podcast I recently found myself listening to called Down the Hatch. It's a Lost Rewatch podcast.
So are you serious?
Yep.
I listen to Horrible Decisions.
Horrible Decisions?
Spelt the way you think it is.
Like with a W at the beginning?
Yup.
Why does my mind immediately go there? Like it's just.
But yeah, it's what were you gonna say?
Go ahead.
Oh, it's about sex and sex taboos. It's a sex and relationship podcast by these two ladies who they're based out of New York, but sometimes they're in LA. But it's interesting. I'll send you an episode.
Okay.
I feel like, well, it's not always that. Like sometimes they'll have guests just talking about certain stuff. Like it kind of reminds me of our creation conversation. Like they just have like certain segments, but it will have something to do about sex, like emails they get from other listeners and all this stuff. It's interesting. It's funny sometimes too. Like I'd be at work listening, just cracking up.
I hear you. I'm just, real busy with my Lost Rewatch podcast. Like,
Lost has been off the air for like 10 years, Travis.
What's your point?
How much more could you really be talking about it?
A lot more.
I fail to understand that.
You don't have to understand it. Only I have to understand it. I'm the one listening to the podcast.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, what more can they cover?
You just look more deeply into it and catch things you didn't catch before.
12 years.
There's always new shit.
Years.
Yeah. It's over, but we gotta go back. That's what Jack said. We gotta go back. You don't even remember that. See, that's why you got to rewatch it.
I do remember that. I find it crazy that at the end of almost every season, these niggas were like, we got to go back. We got to go back. We don't got to go back.
It wasn't at the end of every season. No, he said it at the end of one.
I feel like they're like everyone was saying, and maybe it was that one season, every episode, someone was saying, we got to go back. Why do we have to go back?
Yeah, that was season 4. We were just like, he first said it then, and then it was mostly that season him trying to convince them all to go back. So yeah, kinda.
I think that's horrible friend being.
The fate of the world was at stake, it was just,
Was it though?
It was though. It was. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Lost. We're here to talk about the Arrowverse on the CW. Supergirl, Flash, Legend of Tomorrow, Arrow, Black Lightning, Batwoman, Stargirl, Superman, Lois, all of them. So let's talk about them, not Lost. Even though I gladly talk about Lost for another hour and a half instead of talking about this stuff.
We can do a special on that later. We can do a special on that.
I'd rather just interrupt another podcast to talk about Lost because that's more fun to me. Like, I might hop on Smacking It Raw this week just so I can interrupt them and talk about Lost.
If you're going to do that, please let me know. I will. I too will sign on. We've done it before.
We have.
We should do this like once, like every fiscal quarter, just like.
just pop in just because, throw them off and talk about Lost. Because Matt actually did recently finally watch Lost all the way through, so it's just one of those things where
for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus! At least I got through a lot faster.
It took him a while to actually start. It took some convincing on him. Like,
I see.
Like, with you, it was one of those like, yo, let's watch this. And I like watched it with you at the beginning and you finally like, oh, and you kept watching. It's different with him because it was hard for me to get a time where I could watch the first few episodes with him to get him into it, So it was a different situation. But yeah. Talk about the Arrowverse though.
Yeah, somehow we keep getting back to.
Listen, again, I will gladly spend this entire episode talking about Lost instead of this, but let's not.
It's not what the viewers or the listeners are here for.
You don't know that. The chances that all of our listeners are here for Lost is very low, but never zero.
Well, I guess, yeah, because if you were to tag Lost as one of the tags on YouTube and someone was to YouTube search Lost and then this came up, it'd be like, oh, I wonder how Lost ties into the Arrowverse. And then they'd sit here for the first 10 minutes or so realizing that it was just us talking about Lost, and then we eventually just stopped and went back to the Arrowverse.
I can find a way to tie everything from this show back into Lost if you really want me to. Like, I'm sure each show has something that they do that Lost did first, but
probably.
So again, I still maintain that Lost changed television as we know it, and we have Lost to thank for shows like the Arrowverse right now. But anyway, where do you want to start?
Naomi. Because, look, my gripe with Ava DuVernay in this show right now, the first 8 episodes had me like, oh my God, I don't want to watch another episode of teenagers doing dumb teenager shit again. And then episode 9 came out. And it was just like, okay, who's the other alien in the town? Okay, because we're learning there's at least 29 of them chilling out here.
At least 29 of them existed. We don't know all 29 are there.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying. And then, they dropped that bomb at the end of that episode of Naomi's parents are also aliens, right?
Mm-hmm.
We come into this episode, and what do they give us? More dumb teenager shit.
Yeah. That's all that Naomi does is dumb teenager shit. Like this whole episode, like, I don't want to talk to my parents. They have the answers. Well, I don't want to talk to them. They lied to me. No, they didn't. They just omitted
this was
the
One Tree Hill with superpowers.
I've never seen One Tree Hill, so I'll just take your word for it.
Teenage drama shit.
Yeah. This was just the whole town just like your whole reasoning behind not going to them is stupid because you're still doing anyway. We'll talk. What's the name of the episode?
Fallout. And the only fallout here is that I still don't want to watch this show anymore.
So kicks off. Naomi's like skateboarding and shit. She's not talking to her parents. She goes to Annabelle's house. He's telling her everything, crying and all that kind of shit. And I'm just like, get over it. She goes to Zumbato and D. And apparently D knew that her parents were aliens, and now she mad at him for not telling her that her parents were aliens. Like, yo, that wasn't my fucking business. Like,
and then you find out Zumbato knew them. Yeah. Kinda on Earth 29. Like,
but again, like it wasn't his business to tell her. Like,
wasn't his place.
Exactly. I was here to keep an eye on you and make sure you don't die. Like, that's what I'm here to do. I'm not here to tell you about your parents' origins. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But yeah, apparently they're from Earth 29 also. Like, he knew them. And he's like, well, she's like, well, how did I get here? He's like, your parents are the ones that have the answer to that. But I don't know. She's like, well, I'm not talking to them. Like, you're pissed off because you don't have answers. They have answers. Talk to them. But anyway, so then we got Akira. She's minding her business, but apparently like one of Brutus's lackeys shows up and just like, yo, Mac. Return of the Mac.
I thought you were gonna say return the slab.
Huh?
I thought you were good. Before I actually heard the rhythm, like the beat that you were singing to. When I heard return, I thought you were gonna say return the slab. Like,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a thing from Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh, I barely watched it. Like, I knew it existed and I've seen some of it, but I didn't like full on watch it like that.
I realized even though while we were both millennials, that is still kind of a generational difference.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like every 4 years is a different generation.
Probably.
But yeah.
Yeah, so they want Akira's help to kill Naomi, and she's like, yo, leave me the fuck alone.
She's like, I don't care about this girl. Yeah. I don't she's not a bond to me.
Yeah. Then, you know, Naomi and Annabelle are out. Apparently there's something inside Naomi's alien baby rock. It's some kind of cube, and they don't know what it is. Turns out later on, it's some kind of cube that can like transport people. But yeah,
transmatter cube.
Yeah, turns
into a portal.
Also, Nathan's still pissed at her, so she's not answering her text or calls and shit. And I'm just.
This is an easy way for the CW to be like, we cannot pay you for this episode, so.
He's reoccurring instead of regular, so they gotta.
I know
they can't put him in every episode. It's just that simple. So
I know I'm being funny, just because because the CW's fate is like looming. So
yeah.
I like to pull out as many jokes as I can.
I hear you, because it's just like it's inevitable, but you know,
like Thanos inevitable.
Yeah. One day, just and it's all gone. Or at least half of it, because that's what's going to happen after this season. Anyway, she's like, okay, I have this cube. And she has all these people in her life that she can ask about. She has her parents. She has Zumbato. She has D. There's 4 people off the top of my head she can talk to right now about this cube. But she's like, no, I'm going to go out to this alien bar to ask other people because I'm tired of just believing what people tell me. Because for some reason, these complete strangers, she expects to tell her the complete truth about everything.
Right.
And she's going to believe what they tell her. Because that makes sense. I refuse to believe this is just bad writing. I'm going to choose to believe this is intentional because teenagers are stupid. Because I'm not just going to accept that this is just the writers are that dumb. I refuse to believe that writers are that dumb. To not realize that makes no fucking sense.
You'd be surprised.
I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt here, Mark. Because it's just like, this is dumb. Still not quite as dumb as Flash and friends defeating the Mirror Master with the Care Bear stare. However, it's still dumb. That's still the epitome of this shit needs to end for me. Like, it's just one of those, like, once you start doing the Care Bear stare, that's it. This is done. You've exhausted all possibilities now. That's it. End this, please. But anyway, like I said, she's going to go talk to some strangers at a bar instead of asking people who she knows, because apparently the strangers at the bar are more trustworthy. But anyway, then Naomi's father at some point goes to Zimbardo. What's Naomi's father's name? I keep forgetting.
I don't know. I wrote Papa.
Okay. Doesn't matter then.
Might be Greg. I don't remember.
Greg, George, Mike, some random white
I think it's
name.
something with a G. But either way.
Okay. So anyway, he goes to Zimbardo for help because the military is still after Naomi. And he's like, yo, I thought you took care of that shit. And like, well, there's only so much I can do. And I'm just watching this like, well, what good are you? Like, you're failing on everything. But apparently need to erase all of Naomi's like energy from Star Labs because she did some shit there, and that's what they use in the tracker. Turns out Naomi gets purple hair girl to drive her out to the bar.
Lourdes.
Say it again.
Lourdes.
Lourdes what?
Lourdes.
Lourdes?
Lourdes.
Spell it.
We do this every week. Lourdes.
The fuck? Okay. Lourdes. So, yeah, she's taking her to the bar. Meanwhile, Annabelle's getting some of Naomi's stuff from the house, and the mama's there, and she just all like, is she okay? Told her that I love her, and blah, 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 blah. And Annabelle gets all uncomfortable and runs away because reasons.
Children.
Yeah. Naomi gets to that bar and things go bad because she does dumb teenager shit, just flashing the fucking cube in front of everybody.
Let me see that.
Yeah. And the Kira shows up and she's like, no, and takes her away. They go back to the comic book shops. I'm assuming Lourdes drove her and Akira back to where she was, or what? I don't know how they got there.
They were like, we're not going to explain that.
Yeah. So, yeah, but it turns out the cube was made by Akira. It's just for people to be able to, like, it's what would allow her to transport back to Earth 29.
Then Naomi gets busted by her principal.
Yeah, like, why was he at the? Why weren't you at work, sir? Like,
you know, I was thinking that he was like, "Aren't you supposed to be in fifth period, bitch? Aren't you supposed to be principaling?"
Yeah, exactly. This is literally in my notes. Like, he's like, why aren't you principaling? Like, it's
like you don't throw stones at glass houses, sir.
Yeah. Glass houses.
You gotta explain to the school board. Not only like you think you have to explain to the school board her cutting school, but you gotta explain why you was also in a comic book store during fifth period.
Yeah. So meanwhile, Zimbardo, he erases all the energy stuff, her energy signature from Star Labs. Then we get an argument between Greg and Zimbardo, which went nowhere. Annabelle goes to see Dee. to ask some questions and get some answers and try to figure some shit out. And he's just basically like, yeah, chill. So it turned Naomi and Kira were talking about the cube, and she basically hid the cube inside her rock in case Naomi wanted to go back to Earth 29. Okay. We talked about how the principal found her there. So then we got Naomi and her parents at the school, and they try to make her go home, but she says, fuck that and fuck you, and walks out. And she's like, I like to see you try to make me, basically, because they can't do shit about it now. Like, fuck you gonna do?
Because they are also aliens that don't have powers.
They don't have powers. This is like when Jordan was telling Lois, like, yo, you can't stop me from doing anything anymore. Like, you realize the only person who could is like on another plane of existence.
That right time now is over, Mom.
Yeah, like I have superpowers, so I'm doing what I want to do. So she's with D, just trying to train and overtrain, but her head's not in it, and it's just not going well. And he's like, you need to go home because what you're trying to do right now is not working. What else? Kira has some words with Zimbardo. Pretty much the same shit they've been saying to each other for the other times they've talked. Like, I wanted to do this because I need to help her. Well, you got us, in trouble, so I went to blah, 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 blah. And like, I didn't do anything. Yes, you did. You did something. No, I didn't. Yes, you did.
Oh my God, fuck already and shut up.
Yeah, basically. Then after that, Naomi meets purple hair. No, you said her name was Lourdes, right?
Lourdes. Yes.
Yeah. Meets her at some kind of rave. Annabelle shows up. They partying and shit. And Lourdes tries to kiss Naomi. And she's like, no. I have a boyfriend. Blah, 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 blah. And Lourdes is just like, what the fuck? What were we doing all day? Like, you know what I want from you. You know what I'm like, that I want you. And she's like, well, I have a boyfriend. And it's like, oh, yeah, but it's okay for you to use me to make him jealous and get him to call you and shit. But yeah, okay. Fuck you.
Which is crazy. Yeah. Like Naomi over here acting crazy as if they didn't acknowledge Lourdes' feelings in the first episode.
Yeah.
They pointed it out from day one. We knew this.
We all knew this, including Naomi.
Trying to make her seem all high and mighty.
Yeah. But she needed to ride out to the bar, so guess who she called? And decided to vibe with her all day and shit. And of course, Lois is like, oh yeah, she's back. Yeah. And then nope. Like, oh, well, fuck you. Yeah, she's like, I'm not okay with you using me, basically. So yeah, go fuck yourself.
You said go figure your shit out.
Yeah. But then Max shows up. Like, how about you just step outside before I kill all your friends? And they step outside and we get a Mac versus Naomi fight. Naomi was winning.
I want to see a time when someone says, come outside with me or I'm going to kill all your friends in here. And they just be like, no.
Yeah, and let them actually try to kill all their friends.
Yeah, like just kind of sit there, just like, no. I don't think I will. I don't think I will go outside.
Mm-hmm.
Or even better, they go, do it. Kill him. Then what?
Well, actually, yeah, I'm still not going with you after that because now you killed my friends, so it's definitely fuck you then. So
it's just like one of those, do it. Dare you. I'd love to see you try.
Yeah. That you see that one over there with the purple hair? She really doesn't like me right now anyway. So
right. You be doing me a favor. That's one less bridge I gotta go back over.
Yeah. And honestly, the other one over there, her name is Annabelle. I've honestly been making her life way more difficult than it needs to be. So it might be easier if you just go ahead and end it, So,
put her out of her misery now.
Yeah. So, and the rest of them, the rest of these people, I don't even know these niggas. So, like,
these ain't my friends.
Yeah. So go
Kill
ahead,
him.
do that, and then
Kill him.
we can move past all this because I'm not going with you.
Because you're just being childish.
Yeah, you really are. You really are. I'm tired of you and your shit. I just met you and I'm already tired of you. That means you need to fix some things about yourself.
Could you imagine using that as reverse psychology on a bad person and it working?
Yeah, basically.
Go ahead, kill him. I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah. Short life and a merry one.
Right. Kill him. I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, I move all the time anyway. It's only a matter of time before we move anyway, because clearly, I'm an alien in a place where they don't really like aliens. So we should, like, my parents want to move anyway. So, like,
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, give them a reason for us to go. All my friends get slaughtered. Oh, my parents would be out.
Also, they mentioned multiple times during this episode that Naomi is 16. I could have sworn she was like in the 17, 18 range because she was getting ready to graduate.
That's what I thought too. I thought she was like in her last year. And I was like, oh, you like a sophomore, junior.
Yeah. So it's just like, what's happening here? Is she a junior? Is she a senior? What's happening?
Also,
maybe she's like applying and stuff. You do most of your applying in your junior year. So, well, you're touring and all you're looking and stuff during junior.
Oh, yeah.
You actually apply at the beginning of your senior year. Yeah.
And your SATs. I was just like, that's at first I was like, yeah. And then I was like, wait a second, no.
Yeah. I said applying when I really meant touring and looking and everything. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just used the wrong word there. That's all.
Forgiven. I ain't the source police here.
But yeah, so Naomi's fighting Mac. Zumbato and Akira actually come to help. Today, Mac.
We have a lot of teenagers. It feels like. I mean, I know like most of the shows are adults, but like between Naomi and Stargirl, it's just too many fucking teenagers who people are relying on.
Yeah. So yeah, Naomi ends up going back home, but she's like, I'm not ready to talk yet. I just want to go to bed. And I'm just like, fuck you. Nathan finally texts her back. Then we get Akira and Zumbato talking about some shit that I don't even remember what they said, but yeah, that's it.
She's just asking if he was ready, and Zumbato says they will protect them. And I'm just, what's crazy? What I was thinking about, they haven't had a big tragedy in this show yet.
Nope.
And I was like, damn, that's gonna suck, especially when the show gets canceled, when the CW gets solved.
Yeah, if anything doesn't get renewed, it's definitely going to be Naomi, because like, I'm normally one that says it usually takes about a season for shows to really get good, but you got to give me something,
Yeah. Yeah, no. There's
a lot of shows that weren't perfect the first season, but they gave me something.
Oh yeah, and I feel like the CW is really just sitting there trying to be like, how can we find a way to cut this short without people calling us racist?
Because we about to cut this short. We about to cancel Batwoman. We just haven't said it yet. And like, it's
which it's crazy, because I thought I could have sworn they had said the season that just finished was going to be their last.
They never actually said it. That's the thing. It was just basically, we all just kind of figured it would be, just because of the way that things were going. I don't even remember exactly what was happening at the time that made us all just feel like, yeah, this is probably the last season.
Maybe they only renewed it for 2, maybe because they renewed it for 2 and 3 at the same time.
I don't know.
Or maybe they just preemptively announced 3 when 2 was coming out. I don't know. Where did you go?
My bad. I hit the button on accident.
For those only listening, Travis turned off his camera.
And it was an accident. It wasn't on purpose.
And as you can tell, I don't take well to that.
Yeah, she took it personal. And I'm just like, really? Like, Does my face mean that much to you?
Yeah.
Understood. I like seeing your face too.
Thank you. But yeah, someone's gonna die. I'm gonna put my money on it. It's probably gonna be Zumbato or Akira. But
I was hoping it would be Nathan, but you know.
Why?
Because then I wouldn't have to hear his voice anymore.
You really hate his voice.
I do. I really do. Every time he talks, I'm like, don't do that anymore.
Like, please stop.
Yeah, stop it now. Stop it. Zumbato, cool with him. D, cool with him. Parents, y'all aren't great, but it's whatever. You know, cool with you too. None of them bother me as much as Nathan's voice.
He talks fine. It's just that his way of talking is also so like old.
I don't know. The tone of his voice, it just, I cannot. I don't want to.
I get it.
Where you want to go next?
Flash.
Speaking of things getting canceled, did you see what I put in the Facebook group?
No.
So Candace Patton posted in her Instagram stories after I guess the season was wrapped for everything she had to do. And she's like, that's a wrap for Iris. And she was crying and shit. And I'm just like, are you dead? Did you die this season? Is that what's going to happen? I'm like, yeah, she's gone. This next coming season is definitely the last season. Then they're definitely ended it after that. Because
yeah,
if you kill off Iris in season 8, you're definitely ending things in season 9. So especially her and Joe West being like gone, yeah. When you're left with only 2 people from the original season, yeah, that's it.
Oh, Caitlin and Bear.
Mm-hmm.
And Caitlin is one that I'm just like,
Yeah, she's very
It's like we don't need you, but like it's nice to have you around.
Exactly. If she disappeared, we wouldn't miss her.
When it was just Frost, it was like, yeah, I get this. This is fine.
Yeah, Frost was
and
cool.
Then when they switched back, I'm just like, do we really need you?
Yeah, let's just get more Frost in here. Let's Caitlin more Frost. But also I missed the first 6 minutes of this episode. So what happened at the beginning?
Oh, pretty much it just picks up from the last episode where Deathstorm appears. And then Caitlin screams, and then Flash shows up, and then, he tries to throw a bolt at him, and it doesn't do anything, and then he leaves. But
Deathstorm?
Deathstorm like did something to Caitlin, but like he touched her, but didn't like hurt her, and then that was it. And then she was saying that she admitted that she was wrong because it wasn't Ronnie, and it was kind of showing, I guess, whatever the power was up in the atmosphere with back when Ronnie went up there.
Oh, the singularity. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, see, this is why space and science is fucking scary. Just all that shit happening right above us. Cecile said to Bear that she can tell that Barry's hurting about something. He tells her that Iris is missing. Somehow detects that Iris is back. Iris she explains what happened to Tinya's mom, and she doesn't know what happened. And
so she just appeared?
Yeah, he ran home and she was there. I don't know if it was that she was called or if he just sensed that. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. I was
Yeah, so like she disappeared while on the West Coast, but then just appeared again in Central City.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, Barry ran to wherever Sue and Iris were.
Well, they were
So
in Coast City at the
yeah,
time.
I'm not clear as I'm not clear as to whether or not Sue came back from Coast City. Oh wait, yeah, she had to because she told Barry Iris was missing. So yeah,
Right.
Iris just reappeared wherever they were,
In
wherever
Central
Barry
City.
showed. Yeah.
That's
But
weird.
apparently Iris was somewhere, like, I think she was like in the still forest where she could see like the past, the present, and the future. And apparently she couldn't see her future. So now she's thinking that her future is cut and short. So
Yeah,
you
she
might
gonna
be right.
die. Okay, got you. So then we got some old ass dude gets burnt up. That happens. I had like, yeah, Iris is back somehow, but you explained that.
Luna,
Tried to, but whatever.
Luna and I were watching the episode while we were eating dinner, and the part where Deathstorm dropped the dude back on the floor, she was looking at like that scared me. Because usually, like we'll be like disclaimer for those of you who listen to Multiverse or watch Multiverse, half of those DC half of those DC movies that are all like
Not for children.
yeah, horrendously violent. Like I'll try not to watch them with her, but if she comes in, she'll just start watching and then something bad will happen. And I look at her and she's like, well, that wasn't scary. That didn't scare me. And I'm like, okay, all right. I don't want to hear about this later on.
Injustice, for example, was nobody's bitch, like at all.
Did she watch that one with me? I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I think I remember you mentioning that.
But yeah, so it was funny for her to go on this one and be like, yeah, that's scary.
Yeah. So yeah, we got some time with like Barry and Sue with Iris, and they're just, doing the usual, like, you're gonna be fine, I'm gonna be fine, I don't know if I'm fine, all that kind of shit.
I don't want to leave you, but Sue's gonna stay.
Yeah, all that usual shit. In that time, Kramer calls for the Flash, so goes down to CCPD, and apparently they're getting a bunch of calls about Deathstorm burning niggas up.
Yeah, because he's dropping niggas like crazy.
Yeah. So back at Star Labs, they like, yo, this dude is untraceable. But then Barry's like, no, we can trace him. Cecile, you can do the tracking of the grief thing that you do. We know where he's at if you do that. That's what he feeds off of.
Logic.
Mm-hmm. So then we go back to Iris, and it turns out, her time aids is spreading all the way into the Still Force.
Not her time aids. You could at least say her time herpes.
No, she killed Dion. So time aids is spreading like into the Steel Force, and it's affecting Dion. He's like, yo, what the fuck? I don't know what this is. So he does
it. I don't feel well, Mr. Stark.
Yeah, basically. So he does a thing so he can like track Iris, and then all of a sudden something happens and he just and her time aids kills Dion.
He literally was like, I don't feel so good.
Yeah. Drop down to his knees and then so yeah. She killed Dion. So one of her alleged kids is dead.
Damn, this became what's her face real quick. What is the name of that lady?
Mm-hmm.
Lady who killed her kid but didn't kill her kid. but we all know she killed her kid.
I mean, there's a lot of those.
The big named one.
I don't know. It was
Is
a
it
John.
Amanda?
I'm not sure which one you're referring to because that's happened a lot in the time I've been alive. So.
Casey Anthony. There we go.
Oh, the one in Florida. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there's been that one. There's the John Benet Ramsey one. There's been several ones, and it's just like,
well, yeah, the John Benet Ramsey one to me is like that's more notable about the child. I'm talking like, but everyone knows. I didn't even realize the child's name was Kaylee. But everyone knows the name Casey.
Yeah, we all know Casey Anthony killed her kids. Like it definitely happened. And just like John Benet Ramsey thing, everybody knows her parents did it. Like we know that was what happened. So it's just either you did it or you know who did. But anyway, moving on. We're not here to relitigate these old cases.
Not at all.
So yeah, they do the whole thing using Cecile to try to track Deathstorm, but then Deathstorm just shows up and takes over Cecile's body and does a whole exorcist thing with her. And it's just, yeah, doesn't go well. He wants Caitlin and basically just like, you either give her to me or I take her by force because fuck you, because you can't stop me.
I want her.
Yeah, and then we got Allegra. She's seeing her cousin, but turns out nobody was actually there. She was just seeing shit and blasting at nothing. So she ended up blasting at the wall. And yeah. We get more Iris stuff. She's losing it. Susan helps her keep it together by telling her, like, think about your kids and Barry and blah, 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 anchor to them and yada, 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 yada.
All I could think watching that whole thing happen, I was like, why do I not care about this?
Because it doesn't matter.
I'm waiting for the writers to write a bullshit way to make the shit going on with Iris somehow connect to Deathstorm so that by doing something that will beat Deathstorm, it will also somehow cure Iris of her time sickness.
Make it matter somehow. Exactly. Because it just, the things that are happening with Iris are very irrelevant to me. And I'm just
because
like,
every time she comes up, I'm just like, you're still on the show.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like we said goodbye to you last season, and for some reason you're still here. It's like saying goodbye and just walking in the same direction for blocks. It's like Iris pops up and I'm just like, how is this even mattering to the story right now?
Yeah, it doesn't. That's the thing. It's just, it doesn't matter.
Like, honestly, I don't even remember when she contracted this fucking
Me neither. Me neither. I don't remember how this started at all.
I was like, she was in the Mirrorverse, things were fine. Then all of the sudden, Iris is fucking sick.
Yeah, she just all of a sudden has a time sickness and she just has to be in the still force with Dion. And it's just like, wait. And then he has to give her treatments and everything. Like, how did this start? I don't remember.
Yeah, like when the season started and he was doing this, I was like, what is this from?
Yeah, I remember none of it at all. As long as it's not just me. It's usually me that don't remember shit. But as long as it's not just me this time, I don't feel bad.
And I think that's part of my confusion of every time she shows up on screen, because in all honesty, my brain, she probably died coming out of the Mirrorverse. Like, because like after that, like the second she came back, they started just acting as if like everything was normal. Like they were just like, okay, everyday business.
Yeah, you have hiccups. But yeah, unlike the Legos where everything is super, everything is not super.
Awesome,
right? Everything is awesome. Where did I get super from? Oh, that was Big Gay Al on South Park. He's like, I'm super. Thanks for asking. Yeah. Yeah, so we got Caitlin and Frost doing some talking and shit, but then Deathstorm shows up and takes Caitlin. And Flash goes after them, and he does this thing where he's running on lightning. And I'm just like, okay.
I won't lie, that was pretty cool.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, okay.
You get
Flash.
points for that.
Yeah.
Like, that with the Metallica, like, I was like, okay.
You're like, yeah, this is time to ride the lightning. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give you that.
Okay. Right. This is you get three cool points from your -98.
Yeah, because here's the thing. You ran on lightning, but you still did the Care Bear stare. So there is no coming back from that. I'm sorry. Like I will never forgive that shit. Ever. It's unacceptable. But anyway, then Deathstorm goes through some portal and then they pop out at a carnival. And I'm like, okay. And
he drops them.
Yeah, 4 people, just burns them up. Just like, yep, you, and you. Dead. And he like turns back to Katie. He's like, I'm going to transform you and make you into my bride. I traveled across the stars and blah, 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 blah.
And I was like, I thought you wanted to kill her.
Nah. He wants to like kill her and have her be reborn as his bride, kind of. Way I took that.
Because he was like, your life is mine or something like that. And I was just like, oh, damn, he's going to kill you, Caitlin.
Yeah. Apparently, he's done some shit. He traveled across multiple dimensions and shit, and it took him 7 years to get back.
He's lonely.
He's so lonely.
But when they find Caitlin, Deathstorm has left, and he was like, bitch, you're not ready yet.
Yeah. You can't handle all this. Can't even handle it. So he left. But her cells are all out of whack and weird. Like she's not aging anymore because she can tell that somehow. And
you don't look 5 minutes older anymore.
Yeah. Through some weird techno babble, they explained it. She's not aging.
Yeah. I love when they talk about the science stuff. Like when Barry was trying to figure out if he could ride the lightning, I was just like, what did you just ask Chester?
He just threw out a bunch of random science words that mean nothing. Like it's true. They used to do it on Star Trek all the time. And I'd just be like, you're making this up. Like none of this makes any sense.
I was just like, what did you say? Did you say something about a kernel panic? What? I was like, that's a computer term.
Yeah, they just say a bunch of random science sounding words and assume that nobody's going to check them on that shit because it's all made up.
That is hysterical.
Yeah. So it turns out they think like what happened was Ronnie's grief when he sacrificed himself in the singularity ended up creating Deathstorm. And
oh no, I'll never fuck again.
Basically, like, yo, I'll never get that Caitlin good ever again. And he couldn't handle it.
Could you imagine they hadn't had sex in weeks because they were waiting for the wedding, or like say like they got into like a small argument about something, they just haven't been in the mood, and just thinking the last time you did it was before this one event.
Yeah, like last time it was like it's been like 3 weeks and I ain't even getting none before I died. Like shit.
Grief.
Shame, man. Life is short, y'all. Like
it is.
Keep fucking. So yeah, he's been moving. He like had to move between dimensions with the portals and shit. Basically, in order to stop him, they're like, yo, I know what we can do. We like create an anti-death storm. And Frost like, I volunteer as tribute. And yeah, there's that. And apparently
it makes sense.
Yeah. So then we cut back to this other shit we don't care about with Iris. Apparently somebody's watching her. and Eddie shows up, but it's clearly not him. But still, yeah.
I was like, is this where Deathstorm makes the connection? Is this where we get our connection?
I don't know, man. I'll just yeah. That was the Flash. Anything else with that? Or are you ready to move on?
No, I think we're good to move on.
Sure. Positive. Cool. Superman and Lois then. That's all that's left. This name of the wait, what was the name of the Flash episode? I don't think we even said it. Did we say it?
I'm not sure, but it was Death Rises.
Yeah, we didn't say that.
Okay.
But what's the name of the Superman and Lois episode?
Bizarros in a Bizarro world.
Yeah. So this episode kicks off. It's a little further from last we saw. Superman is going through the portal.
So much portal play this week.
Yeah, a whole lot of portaling because he got portals.
Naomi found a portal.
And Naomi got portals. Flash got portals. They just portaling all over the place. Didn't even play Portal. Like, man. So Superman's going through this portal. He gets all the way through. Everything is backwards, including the talking. And he figures
sun is red. The earth is a cube.
Yeah, he figures it out rather quickly, though, that he's talking backwards. So he fixes it because he's able to do that because he's Superman, I guess.
That's what I was saying. I was like, oh, all of a sudden he can just talk normal.
That's part of Superman's powers, is his ability to talk backwards.
Yeah, just for plot purposes, he had to make it easy.
Yeah. Red Sun, he immediately goes to the Fortress of Solitude on that planet, and he's found there by Bizarro John. Bizarro Supermama's in there too, though. Hologram style. But yeah, Bizarro John finds him, and he's in full like Superboy regalia and gimmick with the complete with the jacket and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not Connor Kent, he's John. So yeah, I'm guessing they're not going to have Connor Kent in here at any point because, apparently they have the green kryptonite is the XK instead of the yellow.
Yeah, say that's their XK.
Yeah, so they smoke that green instead of smoking the yellow.
Green is always better than yellow.
That's what the Lantern Corps believes. Bizarro John and then actual Bizarro Superman had some deep issues, though, apparently. Like, they never really got along.
Father-son disputes.
Even worse than, John and Clark kind of shit. Then we get...
I was like, I see we're going to get a lesson for Superman and Jonathan.
Yeah. So, Bizarro Lois is also there. We get a flashback to some kind of event that's happening. The whole family is there, full on limo, red carpet and everything.
They celebrities.
Yeah. Somebody is falling off a building. I guess they were like window cleaners or some shit. And John ends up saving them. And there's a whole new thing they got to do, a whole HR image consultant kind of shit. And yeah, it's a business for them. It's like,
it was very Boys reminiscent for me.
Kind of, yeah.
It was given that vibe just from that.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking, these people out there that are just famous because they're famous, except for these famous people actually do stuff because they have powers. So, they save people as opposed to the folks that are just, rich and famous because they're rich and famous. Let's see. Bizarro Jordan, though, doesn't have power. So it's different here because he's the one with powers on our Earth. But yeah, on Bizarro Earth, he does not. Bizarro John's becoming a bigger and bigger star. He starts doing stuff on his own without Superman, without Bizarro Superman. and they don't like that shit because they're like, you can only do things with your father, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, I just stopped two trucks from crashing into each other. It wasn't a big deal. Like, did you want me to just let them crash? Like, what the fuck? You're still muted. Yeah. What'd you say?
It was like, it wasn't like it was the big thing. It was just stopping an accident.
Yeah, he stood in between two trucks and did this. And then he went home. Like,
without any damage too. Like, it didn't look like he damaged the trucks.
Yeah, so chill, y'all, for real. Turned into this whole big thing, and then with him leaving and going to see that girl he's been seeing,
Misty.
And she takes him to Allie, so now he's working for Allie, and he ends up taking out Bizarro, Lois, and then tells Superman like, "Yo, give me the pendants because I know you got them." And then another flashbacks with Bizarro Superman and Bizarro Lois. They're fighting, and it's mostly about John, but it's also about what Superman's been doing. I'm guessing he's been
prioritizing being a celebrity over being a hero, being over his family.
And also, though, it's like has he been taking XK as well? Like, is that what's been happening?
I don't think so, not yet, or whatever. I don't know what he was taking later on, but I think at that point he wasn't doing it yet. Or maybe he was.
Yeah, because I think they mentioned it here because he's just like, I'm just using it now, or something. For some reason, it was like, I remember them talking about it at this point. But it wasn't really shown.
Oh, yes. Because they were leaving, and then he lit the barn on fire, but he already looked kind of crazy.
Right. And even it's funny because even the cars, they're opposite. Like, on the right hand side is where the steering wheel is and shit. And it's just like, yeah. Like, take that British shit somewhere else. Like,
So then, do the British are the only one?
Yeah, the British on the other side. Yeah, I don't know. So Lois goes to Bizarro Old Man Lane, and they go into hiding, I guess, because Bizarro John shows up there with Bizarro Lana, and they basically want all the XK, and I guess this one I'm like, I guess the XK was fucking Superman up. Then we got back in what's the present of this episode. John wants the pendants, and he starts like just basically swinging on Superman, and then Anderson shows up. Then we flash back to when Anderson went right through the portal, and he basically figures out at that point that Superman wasn't the bad guy. It was Allie all along. Yeah, dumbass. The person who's been saving your planet for years is still the good guy.
It's like, what did you think it was going to be? And then so he's about to merge, and then Jonathan burns his counterpart to death.
Bizarro John kills Bizarro Anderson, and that's the end of that. So he becomes a wanted man. He goes to the paper looking for Lois. Bizarro newspaper lady basically gives him an address, like on the paper. Yeah, she gives him an address hidden on a piece of paper that she kind of like slips to him when she tells him he needs to leave. And Lois finds him there and brings him to their little family hideout spot. Back in the present of this episode, Anderson, takes out Bizarro John. He's like, tells Superman, like, yeah, you were right. We can't let Allie get the pendants. And this is more of Anderson just realizing he was dumb as fuck.
Because Jordan asked about his dad. Bizarro Jordan asked about his dad, and then Anderson also realized that Superman is Lois Lane's husband, and was like, I feel bad. It was like, you feel bad because you're dumb and you don't listen to anybody. You don't read between the lines.
Yeah. So then all the Bizarro bad guys show up with both Allies. We get a Super Rumble. What's what's Morgan's name?
Taro.
Yeah, Tyrell. So he's there too, along with Lana, because on this earth they're married. Um,
Cute.
yeah, they do a whole back flashing thing. But before that, we get the Alleys doing their fusion dance with the pendants. Yeah. Fusion ha. It doesn't happen though. But yeah, we do a whole flashback with Bizarro Taro and Bizarro Lana meeting and all that, and they have the wedding and blah blah blah. Turns at the end of that, Taro ends up helping Superman and all that kind of shit. Like, yeah, go back, save your family, all that, save your Earth, stop John, blah 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 blah.
Yeah. And
then we pick
Bizarro
up.
Jordan
Also good.
Comes for our Jonathan, and there we are.
Yeah. Bizarro John shows up on the Earth of this show and like, yo, I'm here for him. And that's the end. That was Superman and Lois. Good episode, but I am tired. Okay.
Why? Stop.
But anyway, Mara, who's winning this week?
Is anybody really winning? Stop. I want to say Deathstorm, but I don't really feel like Deathstorm got what he fully wanted, but he got the most what he wanted.
Well, to say Deathstorm is in complete control right now. My money, I'm putting it toward Deathstorm.
And we now welcome Deathstorm to the chart. Mm-hmm. Or to the roster. Who's losing?
Anderson died, so I'm gonna go with that.
Bizarro Anderson.
Well, they both died. So.
Oh, right, they did.
But I was talking about our Anderson, who just realized he was fucking up and was all broken down and crying and shit, and then died. So yeah, I'm going with him.
This is true. I was gonna say at first I was thinking Iris, but Anderson did literally.
I mean, Iris is losing too, but I'm going toward Anderson on this one.
Yeah, I was going to say Anderson's is now a hashtag. So
Anderson is now past tense. So it's the end of him. So yeah.
He's like that.
So that was it for this week. Anything you're looking forward to for next week?
No.
I want to see what'll happen if Bizarro John and our John merge, though. Like, I want to see that happen because I kind of want Superboy,
Our John's probably like, yes, let's do it. Finally get these powers I've been wanting. Mm-hmm. So if everyone in that Earth or that dimension like merge with their other self, does that other dimension or other Earth just go away or just become just inhabited?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Or do people get like a preference of, yeah, I'd rather stay on this backwards Earth, or I could stay in the frontwards Earth?
And whether or not something's backwards or forward is a matter of perspective.
Right. Like what if the forward person is more dominant over the backwards? There's so much science to this that I have questions about.
Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of questions here that need answers, which leads me to believe that we're not going to get those answers. So the merger isn't going to happen really. But I want John and John to come together right now over me.
Or maybe John will just get powers.
Yeah. I want Superboy. So however we get there is how we get there. Because we got Steel. So
We're halfway there.
We're halfway through, Reign of the Superman. So we did the Eradicators in season 1. So we kind of got Eradicator. And then we still have not gotten Superboy. So give us Superboy. And then like they kind of halfway gave us Doomsday. Like they teased it and didn't actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I want Doomsday.
With their budget, hell yeah.
Yeah, like kill Superman for real. Do
that
it.
should just be how they end the show when they don't want to go past season 3.
Yeah, I think they'll keep going because this actually is doing better than the Flash right now. So we'll see. But yeah, that'll be it for this week's episode of Super Flashy Era of Tomorrow. Don't forget you can follow us on both Twitter and Instagram at The Creation World. That is at TheCreatia World. Also on Facebook at facebook.com/Creation World. You can also find me in particular on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all them. But on Instagram and Twitter at Lord_Cussalott. That is at LORD_CUSSALOTT. Mara, where can they find you?
Instagram and Twitter at Mara the Shark, MARADASHARK.
Also, you can find moi. I said that already.
Yes.
What was I going to say? Oh,
you can find
this particular podcast has a Facebook group. What's the Facebook group?
Facebook.com/groups/Super Flash Era of Tomorrow.
What were you about to say?
Did you say Creation's Twitter?
Yes.
Okay, so then there you go.
I think that's it. We're tired.
We are.
We're going to end this now. We'll see y'all next week, though.
Till next time.
All right. We out.
Bye.